Welcome to the Podcast Editing and Support Show. My name is Dave. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. We're going to start the episode right now. Happy to have you here. Let's do this. Welcome back to the Podcast Editing and Support Show. Dave here. Hope you're doing well. Yes, so we are finishing up. We have this episode and one more for you as we look at the Podcast Editing and Support terms of use, frequently used terms. This episode is around podcast management. Now, when I think management, I think of that manager who takes a piece of everything you do, and you're not famous unless you have a manager. Interesting. So in podcast world, I think management can really help you as a podcaster, because we can do things for you that you don't have time to do on your own. You don't have the skills or the ability or the tools or the technology or whatever, fill in the blank. Having somebody in your corner who manages the podcast and manages you. Do you need management? Are you one of those people that, you're not really detail oriented. You don't meet deadlines. You need a little kick in the pants once in a while. Yes. We, as podcast editors and support people, we can be your podcast management system. We can take care of all of that so you can be a podcaster. Isn't that what you wanted to do? Did you want to become a podcast manager when you thought about starting a show? Or did you want to become a podcaster? I think it's more B. You want to be a podcaster. You want to be on the mic and creating great content and introducing yourself to your community and having great communications and meeting great people, going to conferences and living the high life while your management team and the people behind the scenes make you look awesome. You already are awesome. Look in the mirror. Pause right now. Go find the closest mirror. Look at yourself. No. Look at yourself. Oh, would you look at that? Right? Look at yourself. You are amazing. And we can help you look even better. We'll manage your podcast for you. We're podcast editing and support people. It's what we do. Help us, help you. As podcast editors and support people, we can help you manage your podcast. So what is this? What does it involve? Well, 3 things. Another short episode for you. Again, let's rewind a little bit. Episode 24 here, as we look at these podcast terms of use, we talked about editing. We talked about audio editing, noise reduction, mixing, mastering. Then we jumped over at episode 25. We talked about producing. What is producing? It's all the stuff that happens before you hit record. Your script writing, your storyboarding, guest coordination, and research. And then we jumped over to production, which is different than producing. Production is all around the recording, going out into the world and recording your podcast, and voiceover work. All of this stuff can help you in the production of your show. Now we're here in management. The podcast has been recorded, and we're here to help you in managing all of the things that happen behind the scenes. So 3 things for you. Real quick, real easy. You're on your way, and you now understand these 3 terms that are coming up here on the Podcast Editing and Support Show. So when you sit down with a podcast editor, you can say, hey, do you do podcast management? And then the podcast editor looks at you like, huh? Or the podcaster goes, what? You now understand these terms. Are you ready? These are the 3 we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about project management, content scheduling, and team coordination. Let's start at the beginning. Project management.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
As a podcast editor and support person, we can help you oversee your podcast production process from beginning, middle, to the finish line. We can ensure that you hit your timelines, you meet your budget, and we can offer the resources to you to effectively manage your podcast. We can do that all for you. We're here to help you in that. We will manage your show for you. And you can focus on content creation. You can focus on monetization. You can focus on your community. You can focus on having a drink outside in the evening instead of being behind the computer doing all this, you can have a life. Oh, did you realize that we offer you a life? Yes, we can do that for you as podcast editors and support people. We can manage your show from beginning, middle to the end. Take care of all the things behind the scenes so that you can enjoy podcasting. Does that not sound good? The next thing we can do is we can help you schedule your content.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Behind the scenes of a podcast, you might be unaware of this as a podcast host, especially if you're new to this. Welcome to podcasting, by the way. There are things that are a lot of moving pieces happening. There are all kinds of things around planning and managing the release dates of your podcast. We want to have it out on a certain day, a certain time. There's timelines. There's deadlines. There are all the things you'd have in a small business, all within a podcast setting. We can help you maintain this, meet your deadlines, help you be consistent. The one thing that I love about having and working with a podcast manager is that we keep you motivated to record your next episode. You have a team waiting for that email that says, okay, team, I just recorded my episode. Everything's ready. It's all in the Google Drive. It's in the Dropbox. It's in our shared folder. Go ahead, do your magic. A team is waiting for you every week, every second week, once a month, whatever your cadence is. You have a team. They're waiting for you. They're going to meet your needs and expectations and get your podcast out in a timely fashion and meet your listeners' expectation of your show. For you, if you are one of those people that starts fast, jumps in head first, and then gives up quickly because you become unmotivated, you lose the passion to podcast, something diverts your attention, you get distracted like a squirrel, you're off on the next thing, you totally forgot you even had a podcast. Having a podcast manager will say, hey, podcaster, Dave here, where's the episode for next week? Oh, Dave, I forgot. I got distracted. I got busy. I forgot about my podcast. Well, okay, podcaster, Dave here again. I just want you to know that you're paying for this service. So it's kind of like a gym membership when you never go to the gym. You want to be there and you want to meet your expectations, supply your podcast episode to your podcast editing and support person. We're here to manage the process. We're also here to manage you. You need managed. You need someone there going, hang on, podcaster. What are you doing? I'm noticing that you just kind of been backing off on your show the last couple of weeks. We need to have a little meeting here. Let's get you back on track. You need a podcast manager. Yes, you do. Don't argue with me. You need a podcast manager. And you will understand the benefits of having someone to be accountable to, because your audience is also looking to you to show up for them, and we'll help you meet your deadlines. You need a manager. Yes, you do. Go look in the mirror again and say, I need a manager. Okay, and now come back and reach out to us because we can help you with that. We can help you schedule your content and schedule you to stay on track. And the last part of management for your podcast would be all around team coordination.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Whether you work with one podcast editing and support person or a team, you might get to that point where you're like, you know what, I have a business to run. I don't have time to do all this stuff. I'm just going to hire myself a team. I'm going to have my team do all the work for me, and I'm just going to show up, record, and I'm done. That's the beauty of having a team to work with. And having someone like me in your corner, I can help you with these things so you could focus on something that brings value to you and your business and doesn't take you away from what you're doing. Let's put it in context. All right? Let's say you make, I don't know, $60 an hour. That's what your going rate is. Okay? And it takes you 2 hours to cut the grass at your house. Okay? What could you do in that 2 hours? Maybe spend time with your family, your partner, your kids, walk the dog. Again, sit out on the porch and have a nice beverage, read a book, have a nap. Or you could make $120 in 2 hours if you focused on your business. Now, what if you hired somebody and paid them $10 to cut your grass? A $10 expense for 2 hours of your time would mean you've now had the opportunity to make $110 in 2 hours. It costs you $10, but you can also turn around and make $110 and spend it instead of spending 2 hours cutting your grass. All right, another context. What about having all of your groceries delivered to your house? What if it takes you 2 hours to go through the store, get the cart, walk up and down the aisles, listen to terrible music in the store, deal with some very interestingly dressed people at your local Walmart who look like they just got out of bed in their pajamas. And you're like, wow, interesting choice of wardrobe today, folks. You walk up and down the aisles, you spend all this time, you stand in line, you have to bag your own groceries now, scan your own products. You have your own job with all these self-checkouts. You get all that stuff, you load it in the car, you take it home, drive back, you go through traffic. You spend 2 hours, $120 in your time spent to go grocery shopping. If you hate grocery shopping, like I do, would it be great if you could just shop online and it shows up at your door and it's all taken care of? You don't have to go and do any of that stuff. And while someone's picking your groceries and delivering them to you, you're creating business. You're creating new leads. You're building your business, making $120 in 2 hours, and it costs you $8 a month for the service. $8 a month for as many deliveries as you want. Is that not worth your time? $8 so that you can make $120 in 2 hours? Come on. So as you look at the cost of hiring a team, I want you to put it in the context of, oh, this is going to cost me money. Yeah, so does a car. So does a dentist. So does a holiday. So does eating. These all cost money. But we're so easy to take that in and say, well, that's part of life. That's part of my expenses. Starting a podcast and running it in the right way to help you grow your business might require you to have a team. And we can be your podcast management team. We can take care of all of that stuff you don't want to worry about. We'll do it for you. And I'd love to help you with it. So again, we've talked high level so far. We've talked around terms of use for your podcast. We've talked about editing, producing, production, and management. We're going to wrap it up with 6 things all around promotion as we wrap up our little mini series here around terms of use for podcast editing and support. Frequently used terms around your podcast. I hope this helps for when you sit down with your podcast editor. And if that's me, I'm so happy to talk to you. podcasteditingandsupport.com. I'll meet you there. Good luck on your podcast. Can't wait to meet you and can't wait to hear your show. Thanks for listening. Talk soon. Thanks for listening to the Podcast Editing and Support Show. Visit us at podcasteditingandsupport.com, podcasteditingandsupport.com. We would love to help you find a great podcast editor, or if you want to hire us, we would love to work with you. Podcasteditingandsupport.com. Catch you on the next episode. Take care.